Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests. How many of you have ever felt distracted with the thought of merging into traffic? Well, you may relate to a recent experience of mine. I was coming home one evening, and I had to merge into traffic, and it was very congested. So I turned on my left turn signal, looked in my side mirror, and just as I was about to merge, the car that had been behind me had sped up and now was right beside me. The road ahead of me was narrowing quickly. I had to make an emergency decision. So I slowed down and I ducked in behind the car that had just blocked my entry. My first reaction was one of relief. I just managed to avoid catastrophe. However, my next reaction was one of anger as I thought about that driver who had just blocked my entry. My next impulse was to speed up and track down that bad driver and bring him to justice. Fortunately, my better judgment prevailed. And I asked myself a couple questions. Am I the best person to track down bad drivers and bring them to justice? I thought to myself, I don't have a badge that authorizes me to do that. Then I thought to myself, do I have extra time in my day to get involved with bad drivers? You know, I have a big presentation I have to prepare for, and I don't have any extra time in my schedule to get involved with a bad driver. So the smart play here would be to let go of that distraction and move on. Move on to what? Oh, that big presentation. I was so distracted. I almost forgot about that big presentation. So I continued on home, and then when I arrived, I was immediately presented with another challenge. My son's brake lights weren't working. My first reaction was, drop everything, start working on the car. Then I thought to myself, am I the only person who can solve this problem? My son is very intelligent and has excelled at a number of research projects. So I asked him if he could assist by doing some research on the internet regarding brake light issues and then call around local repair shops. Well, you could have heard a pin drop. He was quite stunned, and that was not the reaction that he was looking for. But after a little bit of prodding, he began researching the issue on the internet, and he was quite proud of what he had found, and he began to call around to local repair shops, which was very encouraging. And I was just about to move on, preparing for my big presentation. Then another challenge presented itself. My son and daughter are going back and forth about who is going to go pick up some milk. Again, my first reaction is, I need to jump in and settle this issue. Then I thought, I have not kept precise records of late night milk purchases. So I decided to defer that decision to my son and daughter. And I would only get involved if the family was threatened with vitamin D deficiency. Why do I have so many distractions? I just don't know. What have I learned about distractions? Well, I've learned that I don't have to solve every case of bad driving that I encounter. I don't have to solve every issue concerning an automobile in my household. I don't have to settle every dispute involving late-night milk purchases. I've also learned that managing distractions is often about asking the right question. Am I the only one who can solve this problem? Am I the only one who can settle this dispute? What I've come to realize is that I have some very capable people around me who can solve problems and settle disputes. And I've come to realize as well that with their help, I have a lot of extra time on my schedule, and I can prepare for my big presentation. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.